Kalan, tell me what it means when someone says they want multiple streams of income. Tell the people. Why do the people need multiple streams of income?
COVID says it all. What's the difference between having an LLC for your business and being trademarked?
For me, I'm trying to get multiple streams of income because I'm trying to retire early. 62, can't do it.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Stream Chasers. We're going to switch it up a little bit today. You know, typically we have a special guest come in, dive in on some interviews, some business chats, different topics. But today we're going to let you really get a chance to get to know your host of the Stream Chasers podcast. Mm-hmm. You know, on the first episode, we kind of dove in a little bit, gave you just a little bit of background about us, but we never really got a chance to let you know about us. So today we're going to give you a lot of that information just so you can truly know who's the originators behind the Stream Chasers podcast.
Originators. That's an interesting term. Because I would not call myself an originator. I'd say that Kalan is the originator. I'm in the passenger seat. I'm strapped in for the ride, but he is driving this boat, okay? I'm just here.
I would say that's not true. Because even though it may have been my idea where I came to Candace, teamwork is everything.
It does make the dream work.
It does make the dream work. And one person can't do it all. One person can do it all. But you will severely be tired, stressed out, and especially both of us because we both have families.
Come on.
So, like I said, don't go at it alone if you don't have to.
That's a good point. So, like Kalan said, he called me. I was about 8 months pregnant. I was a whole whale. And he was like, so I had a thought. And I was like, sure, Kayla. I mean, what's going on? I should add that we know each other because I went to college with Kalan's wife, Mickey. And so I was like, so what's happened? You got a thought? And he was like, so about this podcast. I was thinking, and I was like, podcast? And at first I was like, okay, I mean, I think I got a radio friendly voice. I can do a podcast. And he told me what his thought was about business resources and all that kind of stuff for the good people, for people who are like us and are chasing multiple streams of income. Because one thing we know about each other is that through other ventures and other things that we've talked about, that we are both stream chasers at the end of the day. But then he said, I want to put it on video.
Gotta do video.
And I was like, I almost backed out immediately. Like, you know what? This was a great conversation, but I don't think that I'm your girl because video is not for me. I mean, even now, when he sends me like little clips of the videos to post to Instagram, I'll be looking at the faces that I'm like, man, sis gotta do better. But anyway.
Oh, speaking of the faces, no, you have to see it when I edit it.
Oh my God.
Because I can make it in slow-mo and some of the facial expressions are hilarious.
I knew it because I be trying to choose like a little cover photo. I'm like, this is terrible. The options are not good. Oh my God. So I'm going to try to be better about my face.
Maybe we might put some of those out there just as like a little bloopers reel for both of us because we both be making some serious funny faces. That straight face will get you every time.
Know that what you see is edited. But and edited by the man himself. But Stream Chasers is, I would say, Kalan's brainchild, but I am more than happy to be along for the ride because we do have families that we support through our 9-to-5s, through our side gigs, as I like to call them. And I've learned a lot through my journey being a stream chaser. My business, Pretty Prince, etc., I've been doing since 2013.
Oh, wow. 14. That's a long time.
Yeah, I got married in 14. So 2014. It's been a long time. And so in that, was that 7 years now? I have learned a lot. And so when he called about doing the podcast, I said, I am more than happy to share what I've learned, to interview other folks, to learn some more, because I have a lot of other things that I'm interested in that I want to put pen to paper on and start making some steps in. So this is a way that not only are you guys learning, but I'm learning too. So
no, just to piggyback off of what Candace was saying. So when I first had the thought of the Stream Chasers podcast, several of my friends know that I love talking about business, whether it's their business, my business ideas, or just whatever's going on in the world. So I started thinking, like, how cool would it be to have my own? Mm-hmm. And this was actually a thought 3 or 4 years ago.
Wow.
But I was loafing, you know, other things just come up, and it's like, oh, well, maybe one day, until that one day comes, and it's like, all right, I'm doing it, you know.
Do it.
Yeah, you just got to proceed with it. But then also, like Candace was saying, I don't know everything. I probably only know a little bit. Granted, I feel like I know some stuff, but it's not enough.
Right.
And through some of the interviews that we've had, I'm learning so much.
Me too.
And of course, we want to provide, good information for all of our listeners. But like Candace said, we also trying to learn stuff, and so we can apply it to our lives, because we're all trying to become that stream chaser and a successful stream chaser.
Right.
So that was the whole concept behind creating this podcast, creating this show, creating this whole platform, just for an outlet for all of us to kind of connect, learn from, grow from, and then share it with your friends. Because even some of our parents, many of our parents grew up with the whole concept of get a job, get that government job,
get that good government,
work the 9 to 5, which is nothing wrong. I'm not knocking that. But as we see a lot of your Generation Y, your millennials, you see people becoming YouTube stars. They're not going the traditional route. And it's not that our parents don't believe in us. They just haven't become hip to it, basically. Like, no, this is a real thing, and maybe you should look into it. So granted, a lot of our listeners are our peers around the same age as us, but we want you to be able to take some of that information and, share it with your mom, your dad, some of your older aunts and uncles, because it's never too late.
No, I'm happy to say my mom is now a stream chaser. She got her little, I say little, but it could be big. Actually, it is on the way to being quite large. As I say little, I was thinking about it, like, wait a minute, it's not so little, it's bigger than mine. But anyway, she's got her side gig and she's doing her thing. And I'm happy to say that, because you are right. Like, there's a generational curve in that knowledge, in that thought process. Now, the pension situation is not a thing anymore. Social Security is about to not be a thing anymore. And so if you want to do well by your family, by yourself, by your family, you're going to have to chase that yourself. You're going to have to get it how you live it, as the young folks say, yourself. So what does that mean to you? How do you do that? What's the next steps to making that happen? It's all kind of what we unearth here.
Nah, so that's interesting. Just in the whole, what we think was guaranteed may no longer be guaranteed. And we just saw that a couple of years ago in the federal government, when it was that big shutdown.
Oh, yeah.
And I think people were shut down or furloughed for 2 months or so?
Yeah.
Yeah. And these people who had these government jobs that, they always say, oh, I got the stable, I got the security job. It was a lot of people that weren't getting paid from these great government jobs. So it's nothing wrong with tapping in and leveraging other multiple streams of income. So we're now on a few episodes doing some, pretty consistent things. But, a lot of the feedback that I get from when we first started is like, wow, like Kalan doing a podcast, because a lot of people see me as this chill person, which I am. Like, I'm always going to be that chill person, laid back. That's why a lot of people call me low key. However, I have a lot of things to say. And especially in the business world. And Instagram is not always the most professional place to get things out, especially from your business account, because sometimes you do want to send some subliminals to some of these competitors out here or whatever, but you can't do it. So I was like, what other well, what's a better way to be able to put some of this out? And it's like, I gotta say, start a podcast.
Okay. So that way I say what I want, when I want.
Yeah. And it's for my listeners.
Exactly. I like it. I'm here for it. I mean, my podcast is real dry. I mean, my Instagram is real dry. If you go to my personal Instagram, it's just me. Not even just me, because I really don't take photos like that. So like Kalan said, it's literally my kids. That's who you will see on my kids, my dog, my husband. And maybe a cake, because I bake every now and again. But that's about it. So the idea of sharing some of this information here is I'm with it.
Yeah. So now that you know just a little bit about why we started, let's dive into our first topic at hand today. So as you all know now, we both, Candace and I, we both have families. We both work 9 to 5s. We both have businesses, living the life. Some people may say, but it can be very stressful at times.
It can be.
So I'd like to know, Candace, how do you navigate that? Like just managing everything.
There's this meme where it's Cruella de Vil, and it's like the part of the Dalmatians movie where she's driving the car, her eyes are crazy, hair's blowing in the wind. It was like me trying to balance work, my family, my kids, my side business. That's me. So navigate, I don't know if that's a word I would use, but it really, so if you're trying to stream chase and you have a 9 to 5 and you do have a family, it's really all going to come down to communication and partnership, right? So I'm here recording a podcast at our wonderful podcast studio, which means I'm not at home. And in the evening, because this is a weekday that I'm just gonna let y'all in today. It's a weekday that we're recording this. So I'm here in the evening, which means I'm not at home. I have a 3-month-old baby. So my husband is on daddy duty, you know what I mean? But we have to help each other out in that regard. So that means that I had to slow cooker a dinner so that he could navigate the baby, the 7-year-old. We have a 15-year-old, like navigate all of those so he don't have to do dinner. Then that's what we got to do. So we have a big old calendar. We use it. It is important.
I've heard you refer to it.
Yes, it is important so that we can mark down things. So my husband likes to play golf. So on the calendar, this is a golf day. So I have to respect his boundaries. And then for me, it might mean that, sometimes at night, as Kalan referred to earlier, if you could have a partner in life, but also in business, it makes things easier. My side business, my stationery business, I don't have a partner in it. So it's just me all by myself. So when wedding season comes and the orders are hitting, I have to use our calendar to be like, okay, so I'm going to be up late on this night and this night and this night because I got to get stuff done.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of scheduling, but more than anything, a lot of communication. And it also takes having a partner who respects your hustle.
Yes.
That's really, really important, because if they don't, then it all feels extraneous. It feels like an extra strain on the marriage. It feels like, it just feels extra. And it's like, you got a 9 to 5. Why I don't get to see you, or why is this where it's at? So you need to have a partner who understands the hustle. Now, I know that you understand the hustle.
Yeah.
And I know that your wife understands the hustle, because you are doing something that I probably wouldn't do, which is that you have a business that you running out of your house.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So, like you said, we have a business that's being ran out of our house. First, let me just say, we're very blessed to be able to have a space that we're able to run that business out of our house.
True.
And I'm not going to dive too much into it. I'm gonna let my wife be a guest one day. One day you all will hear her great story about Go Stretch. But just balancing some of that, you're right. We run this business out of our home, which was not the intended plan.
Okay.
It was just like, maybe a 1 to 3 month thing.
Okay.
But then COVID hit. But the challenge in that is like, everything is here. Your personal, your business. And like you said, we're trying to have successful marriages, successful businesses, trying to be a great father with the kids. And then you have virtual school, so the kids are home, or our oldest is at home. So just trying to navigate all of that in itself is a challenge. But something that you hit on, you have to have a strong partner. And I'll just say this for the fellas. I know when you're younger, it's all about, talking to as many females as you can, doing that. But I just say it's nothing like finding that one, because they going to hold you down, or they should hold you down.
Right. He's earning brownie points today.
Trying, you know what I'm saying? But for real, you gotta get that support, and vice versa.
Right.
Just like you said, right now, Anthony's at home.
Yes, he is.
Taking care of the house, holding the house down. Just a small fact, to you all, my wife, who has her own full-time business, does our sound production for the podcast. So like I said, your spouse, your partner can make or break some things.
That is true. You
may come to them with some great ideas, and it might be something that you're very passionate in. But if they hit you with reality, which is, I'm tired, I don't have time to do this, you don't have time to do this, then that's a done deal.
It's funny you say that, because so Anthony and I have been married for 7 years now. And if I back up to like year 2 or year 3, and my stationery business was popping off. I mean, it was like, it was getting, especially without having a partner. By myself, I was staying up till 2, 3 in the morning trying to get orders out, turn around, going to work the next day. Sometimes I was taking days off work to try to catch up to orders and stuff like that. And I came to him and I said, listen, this is coming to a part where it's like, it's time. I need to do something, and I think it's time for me to leave my job. Bro wasn't having it, okay? He was like, so nah. And it took a while. Like, we had to have a sit down conversation, like literally.
Nah, like, I'm leaving this job.
Like, I need to leave this job. So I'm sitting here like this. He's sitting in front of me, and we literally had to like talk it out. Okay, so what does it mean to leave your job? What kind of money are we leaving on the table? What kind of income do we think we're getting through this side gig that you want to make your main gig? What does it mean for like daycare? What does it mean for, like, we had to literally talk through every portion of our lives, and that can be stressful. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you two aren't coming from the same situation. And what I had to understand about him was the way he grew up. There was a point in his life when he was growing up where his mom quit and came home. And it was hard on the family, like financially. And he was trying to avoid like going back there. So me saying this was triggering him in that way. And so we had to talk. Now this turned into the relationship show. That's not what it's supposed to be about. We not Derrick Jaxn over here. So, but we had to talk through that. And we made a financial decision that instead of me leaving my job, because we were trying to move houses eventually, that maybe the best thing to do was to hire someone and try to work through that way, which meant you might not bringing in as much income because now you got to pay somebody, right? But it'll help you because you'll have more than two hands. So, but to that point, sometimes your partner is not going to be down for the idea that you bring them. That does not make them not a good partner, but you have to be able to talk through the ins and the outs. And it's uncomfortable. It was not, because I was like, he ain't down for my dreams. He not supporting me. And I just felt like, for me, it felt very easy, like, duh. And we'd only been married for like 2 years at that point. So, like, when I think about it, I know me, because I've been with me this whole time. You know, I've been me for 30 some odd years. I know that I'm not going to let this family go down in flames. He is still getting to know me. Like, we dated, we're married, but still, what's that, 4 years all together at that point?
Yeah.
He don't know you like that. Yeah. And like, what if you mess this up? And what if you really just dive off and it doesn't work out? What does that mean? So anyway, it worked out the way that it's supposed to work out. And we here now. So
no, that's the whole thing. Because I have a friend who I used to work with. She got married at one point, like mid-20s, like 25 or 27 or so. And she actually got a divorce. She's very goal-driven, ambitious. And I asked her, without getting too deep in her business, but she's very open. But I asked her, like, so what happened on the first marriage? Her answer was, I had to get a divorce because he didn't believe in the dreams or my business goals. And I felt like he was holding me back. Wow. And the lady today, like, she's
crushing it. I know it.
She's on another level. She's remarried.
Okay.
The whole nine.
Yeah.
But it's like you gotta have that support.
You do. And it's important to talk about that up front. Like, I think that Anthony knew looking at me that I was driven. I don't think either one of us knew that I was going to be in a place where I wanted to walk off the job. So that was new. And I don't want to say I took the L. I want to say, in marriage, there are concessions. I conceded that time and said, okay, I won't leave the job. We'll do this. But I will say that the side hustle has supplemented our income from that time forward. He wasn't wrong about what he said. Like, when I look at where we are now, he wasn't wrong. Now, when I'm ready to walk this time, it's time for his time to concede.
Yeah. Nah, because when it's time, it's time.
When it's time, it's time. Yeah, you got to take it when it pops. And so, it pops at different times.
Yeah. I feel you. And I just wish you much success, early congrats, because I know it's going to happen for you.
Thank you.
And just listening to you, I think you're missing out on a potential income stream, because it sounds like you can be a relationship coach.
I'm going to think about it.
Might have to add that to your you said dry
to my
Instagram bio.
I asked my husband actually at one point if he would do that. We sat down and we did a video. Man, it had to be every bit of 6 years ago now, where we talked about the way our family structure with income is set up. And I don't know what made us do it, but we sat at the kitchen table and just talked about, he was interested in talking to men about women who make more money than being with a partner who makes more money than you. So we sat and we talked, because that's where we were at the time. And we got such a big response, but he's so shy. Like, if you know him.
But he don't seem shy.
Yeah, I know. If you know him, he'll talk to you forever. Like, my husband will talk your head off if he know you. But if he doesn't, he don't really have that much to say. So, the idea of all these people, I think was too much for him. But I'm going to think about it, because as a stream chaser, additional streams of income. And since Derrick Jaxn about to be out of business, maybe that's for me. Just slide it on in there, because I think he about to be out of business. But anyway, so...
But yeah, so just kind of, I'd like to touch on something that you kind of mentioned, just the whole discrepancy about, price and income between men, man and a woman. What's your thoughts on how we have so many Black female entrepreneurs on the rise? You might be a Black sports agent, female sports agent.
Okay.
You don't see too many of those.
No, not at all.
But you may have a awesome clientele already just from previous connections. I might be the same job, and we're both targeting a potential client. Who do you think realistically that person, that client, that young football player is going to go with? Most of the time, they're going to choose that man.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they might feel he knows what he's talking about. He's familiar with my sport.
He might not know nothing.
Might not know nothing, because there's a lot of people who don't know nothing, especially when it comes to sports. But that's just an example. But how do you feel about that? This whole women and men supposed to be on the same playing field. However, you see the man often getting bumped up in all facets.
It's a real thing. It's interesting. I'm not surprised by the statistic that says Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, because Black women are also the largest group of college educated folks across the United States. So to think that they are not settling for what's at the 9-to-5 and deciding to either open their own businesses instead of going to a 9-to-5 or in partnership with their 9-to-5 does not surprise me. So I'm not surprised by that statistic. And I had a friend who used to say, we are here local to the Washington, D.C. area, and there is a lounge, a club called the Park here. And he used to say the Park happy hour was nothing but Black women entrepreneurs. He was like, that's all it is, literally. So anyway.
So fellas, when COVID is over, like I said, you need to get you one.
Exactly.
Be in Park.
So I'm not surprised by the statistic, but it is disheartening that women in general, and definitely Black women, are always cast at a lower tier than men when it comes to a plethora of things. Like in my 9-to-5, right? So my 9-to-5 career field is the field itself. So from entry level all the way through management, I would say it's 80% women. But the managerial portion of it, so when you ascend to start talking about managers and stuff, it's 80% men. Now, how is a field that's 80% women being managed by 80% men? Like, how does that happen? And it happens because we get this weird bump between us. I am fortunate to say that I don't think that that's been my portion in life, but I see it all the time. I think it has everything to do with how women, when Kim was here, she talked about how you have to stand in your power and demand what it is that you want. Women are taught from a very young age to kind of like be a little docile and accepting of what comes your way, rather than like standing in full power and saying, no, I don't like what you've given me. I need more, right?
Because we see that, or society sees when the young girl does that they're a bully.
Yes, that they're a bully, and she's bossy, and it's not ladylike. Well, what does that even mean? It's not ladylike, you know what I mean? But that's a real thing. And so you learn those things, even subconsciously you learn them, and that follows you throughout your life. And so here you are. My dad told me something one time. He said, if a job description, so you're on Indeed.com and a job description has 10 things that you need to qualify for a job, a man will apply for that job even if he only qualifies for 3 of those things on the list. He gonna shoot a shot.
I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, I know Excel. That's me.
Apply.
But I missed out on all the other 10.
Exactly. And women, we won't do it until we meet 9 out of those 10. 9 out of 10. Even where I am today in my career, I still find myself looking at things like, I don't know, because that one thing that they said doesn't really meet. And we talk ourselves out of that all the time. So part of women being sometimes held to that second tier is our own doing, right? Because here we are, Kalan is telling you when 30% work for him, he like, apply. When it's I'm here at 70%, like, I don't know. So we have to stop doubting ourselves in that way, but then we also have to stop putting it on our daughters and our nieces and our sisters and our friends, and don't cast that doubt on them, and let them shine in all their greatness. Like, be great. It's a weird concept, but I definitely know it. I mean, even at work today, I'm a deputy chief at my organization, knowing full well I should be a chief. Full well, but I'm not, because when the position opened, I was like, I don't know. And then I see a man. I've been at this organization for 3 years. I've seen this man ascend from like manager to deputy chief to chief. When I tell you he knows nothing, I mean that the man knows nothing. And it's just like, it's astounding to me. But women, we need that extra like layer of confidence to like blanket us for us to know. So, it's unfortunate. It does follow us into small business too. Where you feel like, your customers start to, interpret it. But I think, so it's an individual thing. Like, every individual is responsible for how they navigate that, but it's also a societal effort. Like, we have to know that our women are as capable of delivering results as men are.
No, I agree. And like you said, women often feel like they need to be equipped with everything.
The whole thing.
Like the whole nine. Like you said, they need to meet everything that's on paper and the intangibles.
Come on.
But this guy at my job, he always says a manager only needs to know how to lead the people.
Man.
And that's something that, again, a woman has every bit of the power to be able to do that, because often they're great managers. However, the guy, like you said, they'll only see 3 bullets that apply to them, and the other 7 is like, oh, whatever. But I know that I know how to manage, or I can lead people, so I'm gonna apply for this job. We both have young daughters.
We do.
So just how we're raising them to be strong women. To show them entrepreneurship. If that's something that they want to do,
right.
Or whether it's their first job, like, hey, go and be equipped with your knowledge. Like, don't just take anything. But it starts at such a young age.
It does.
To equip them with this knowledge.
It's crazy that guy on your job said you only need to be a great lead people, because in a sense he's right. In a sense, the people are doing the work. You need to lead them in a way that would have them be more efficient, more productive, whatever. Like, that's your job as a manager. I would never, this is me sitting in myself today, knowing what I do for a living, knowing that I've been managing people for, at this point, 7 years, whatever. when I tell you, part of the reason I did not apply for that chief job is because it was over 3 divisions. I knew the work of one division, obviously, because I'm in that division, but the other 2 divisions, I didn't feel that sure about, right? But I only need to lead those people. But I didn't apply for that job simply because I was like, I don't know all of that. I know that that's crazy, right? I know that that's crazy as I say it. And I know what he said is true. But it's still like mind boggling. Like, you mean to tell me that I just need to lead these people and I don't have to have been an accountant, a finance person, because it was just, it's a lot. And then, of course, the person who came in didn't know nothing and still don't know nothing. And what she does, because it is a woman, but what she does is lead people. That's it.
No, I got another gem for you.
Okay.
And I got it from the same guy. Maybe one day we'll have him on the show. He's always talking about the show. So I'm sure, he's going to appreciate this little upcoming quote. But he also shared with me Jeff Bezos. We all know how he just stepped down as CEO of Amazon.
Right.
But, that's the richest company.
Right.
He came out and said an owner or a CEO of $1 million company or $1 billion company only has to make 3 good decisions all year. And that's it. Meanwhile, all the workers, all the other sub-level managers are stressing day in and day out about decision after decision after decision.
That's crazy.
He goes with the mindset, I only need 3 good decisions all year. And I'll let everybody else do their thing.
And this is why CEOs are predominantly white and male, because that mindset, that thought, like, I can't even. There was a job posting not long ago. It's probably still open for the agency director for DC Lottery. And I read through the position description and I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, everything about that job position said, you could probably do this. And and here we go with the word probably, but you could do this, right? And I didn't apply for it because there was a line in it that was like, you need to have experience with DC Lottery or other lotteries, MD Lottery, VA Lottery, everything else. There were 10 bullets. Yeah. Everything else I met, but I don't have specific experience with lottery, right? Yeah. So I was like, cast that off to the side. But then I got to thinking about it. It was like, CEOs jump from company to company to company. You might have been the CEO at Pepsi. Now you're the CEO at Ford. Now you're the CEO. What is the chance that the person who is the CEO at Pepsi knows anything about what's going over at Ford, but they're going to bring her or him over there because they know how to lead people. And that's what it's about. And so women you have to step around this fear that you have to have all 10 bullet points. So tonight I'm going home and apply for the job. So there we go. There it is.
Yeah, you got to shoot your shot. I do it all the time. Like, I've seen on Department of Transportation, they ask the question, what background experience do you have working with the railroads? Like, I don't have no experience with the railroads, but I know how to do project management, so I'm gonna apply.
Okay.
So, but that's the approach you gotta have.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shore myself up with some of that Kalan juice. I don't. Let me tell you, sis, I struggles. I do, but I'm gonna be better.
But let me caveat that, like, I don't be getting no responses either. So.
But see, do you change your resume every time you apply?
No.
And that's why. See.
No.
I firmly believe that every resume, and this is a gem for you and for you, every resume has to be tweaked to the job that you apply for.
I'm not doing it because the time that it's taken me to go in Word, update a sentence or two, make sure the formatting is good, then save the PDF to make it look nice, upload it. Like, I'm not doing all that. Like, if I can't get in off the standard resume, it's not meant for me.
And that's an okay way to think about it. It is. But I promise you, if you are truly job hunting, because Kalan has a job and he just be out here shooting
so
your shot.
don't listen to me.
If you have a job and you just shooting your shot, that is okay advice. But if you are in need of a job and you're like desperately looking for a job, I promise you, read the position description and tweak your resume. Just like maybe your opening last job and maybe your opening sentences or whatever you got up there. But just tweak it a little bit to reflect a little bit more of the flavor of the culture and the PD that you're after, the position description you're after, and you'll get results every time. I never not get a call back. But because that takes so much work, I only apply for select jobs. Like, I'm very selective about what I apply for.
If you look at my inbox, I applied like 63 jobs over 3 months.
My G.
Because it's just literally upload resume, submit.
I can't do it.
Like, and then if they ask me, so it might be like, can you please explain how you did, how you're an expert at this? I might answer the first one. I might answer the second one. Once it get to the third and I start scrolling, it's like, oh, you want me to do this 8 more times? Yeah. I'm out.
Okay. All right.
X.
Got it. He said easy apply. He want that Indeed easy apply.
Yeah.
Click.
No, that's what I look for.
Okay.
When I was in the job market.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. It's a way for everybody. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But kind of switching topics here. I want to get back into some of the business stuff, because this is something that's real big in our community.
Okay.
We see a lot of successful entrepreneurs that have good products, good services, right in our own backyard here in PG County.
Right. However,
there's a stigma about Black businesses. Are they legit? Are they authentic? Can they really be trusted? You know, the whole nine.
Okay.
What's your thoughts, or why do you think, first of all, Black business owners get it so bad from Black consumers? Because oftentimes we'll go to fast food restaurants or other white establishments. They may mess up, treat you bad, terrible customer service. However, I'm back in Nordstrom's. I'm back at Macy's every other week. I'm going to Foot Locker, still giving them $200-$300.
Right.
But I'm getting treated bad.
Right.
But the first time Susie Ann's does it, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go on Instagram and bash you. And then tell my friends not to go to you.
Yeah.
And now you've now tore down a Black company.
Yeah.
However, they may have just had a bad moment, a bad day. May have overlooked, an email or something. It wasn't intentional.
Right.
But why do you think we're so short with Black companies?
It's a good question. I mean, I think it's twofold. I think one side of it is, you're taught as a Black person, you gotta be 10 times better all the time. Like, in order to get anywhere in life, you gotta be 10 times better. 10 times better on the job, 10 times better everywhere. And so I think we have that same expectation of ourselves. So like, when I walk into this Black establishment, it better be 10 times better. Like, it's gotta be, right? So I think we have to like let that go. That's first and foremost. But I think that we generally are more forgiving. We, not just Black people, but people, period, are more forgiving with these big brands because we feel like, well, Ronald McDonald can't possibly know every employee at every McDonald's. And it wasn't McDonald's, the corporation. It was just that person, right? And that person might not be here the next time I roll through or whatever the case may be, right? And we don't give the same grace and benefit to smaller businesses who most likely the next time you run through Susie Ann's, she's still going to be there, right? And so some of it has to do with the fact that this is it's not that we don't respect the Black business, it's we don't respect the small business, right? It's a small mom and pop shop that we don't respect, whereas we respect the corporation. Now, why that is, I cannot tell you, because these corporations don't care nothing about you, okay? Nothing about you, or really your dollar. You can be mad, and guess what? They still gonna be here. So what?
Yeah, just like the H&M, like a few years ago, and Gucci, and I'm sure it's other brands out there, but when they had... what was it, like the Black boy
wearing that monkey shirt?
Yeah, the whole monkey thing, and then they try to come up and fix it, apologize or whatever. But again, they only doing that for the look, for right now. But they really don't care
not one time
about us, because one, they getting that international money already from Paris, and all that. But then we're still going, because it's like, well, H&M be having those sales, so I'm going to this day party, so I'm gonna just look past it this one time.
Exactly.
Or I've been wanting that Gucci belt. So
yeah, exactly.
It's on sale today,
so I'm gonna get it because we had canceled Gucci at one point, and we right back at Gucci.
Yeah,
so I don't,
Yeah.
It's a thing that we do. And it's unfortunate because, given the opportunity, a lot of small businesses will become very large businesses, but you have to give them the opportunity. They need the growth and the space to make the same kind of mistakes that large organizations do. But on the flip side of that, small businesses, you got to put your best foot forward. Like you just have to. And that's not to say that you have control over every employee and every mistake. You will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm 7 years in the game and I still make mistakes. So, it is what it is. But you still have to put your best foot forward. So don't be out here with your janky website. Don't be out here with your business cards that say taxes, hair, and catering all at the same time. You can do all three of those things. Get 3 separate business cards, okay? Use them as the occasion calls for. Like, put your best foot forward and think about if you were in your shoes, would you want to buy from this person? Because I promise you, all of those things matter. Like, as a consumer, when I go on a website because, somebody referred me to XYZ business and I pull it up, I'm like, oh no, I'm not click X. I'm not, no, I'm not doing this. So, or if the website is janky, or if you go to the establishment itself and, the furniture mismatched and it's, I'm not doing it. Yeah. I'm very bougie about where I spend my dollar. So, you have to also, you want the money, but you also have to have the look. When you go in Target, everything is red and white.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All the employees got on khakis and red shirts. The girl that you hired at the front, you can't allow her to just be out of uniform just because she out of uniform. You have to have the same standards. Chick-fil-A, everybody say, my pleasure. It is what it is.
Yeah, so for me, one of the first ways that I evaluate a company is if I see good processes and systems in place.
Okay.
And it can be for any type of business, whether you're selling shirts, hats, or, I'm not purchasing makeup, but I'm going to just use makeup as an example.
Right.
Or weave, or whatever the case may be. If I come to you and it's like, oh, I got it in my trunk. Just cash at me.
Dead.
I don't have no website. Just shoot me a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
To me,
it feels very scam-like.
Yeah. Now I've lost potential value in your company. And that's where it goes back, like you said, the look. And this is something that I'm big on. And I have another good friend who's very business savvy. We'll probably have him on the show as well. We often talk about how both of us would leverage each other perfectly. Because he's a person he thinks it and he's after it. Okay. The next day. Okay. Put in the money, like he's after it. Me, I'm more reserved and I make calculated risk. So it's like, all right, I need to see the whole picture, not just today. Yeah. I need to look, what does 3 to 5 years look like from now? Right. In this industry. And that's a gift and a curse. Because sometimes, and there's been times where my friend, he's booming now. Yeah. He's thriving.
Because he made it. He just did it.
Yeah, he just jumps and he takes the approach as, I'm going to learn on the go. Okay. I'm going to learn on the job. I'm going to lose some money, but I'm going to keep on rolling. Right. Me, I'm trying to alleviate as much risk as possible. Right. But however, sometimes I'm too late.
You miss an opportunity that way.
And it most recently happened to me this past summer. Like we mentioned earlier on this episode, we're running our business out of our home. Okay. And I was getting ready to, I wanted to pull the trigger on a space. Okay. That I thought was perfect. But I sat on it for some time. And I was like, well, ain't nobody going to look at it. Yeah. Ain't nobody going to look at it. That morning, my wife and I, we talked. We was like, all right, let's just go ahead and call the lady. I called her. She responded and said, oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody's already moved on it. Dang. But we look at that as a blessing because it was like, all right, it wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant for you.
But still, it was like that was a place that I really wanted. And had we moved sooner, or had I moved on it sooner, versus trying to evaluate every single thing, like, well, you might be low this month. Well, you coming in winter. Well, that's going to be the slow season. You know, and that's a whole nother topic where we're going to get into like the real life of a business entrepreneur. But yeah, so, you know, I'm sitting there evaluating all those things.
Right.
And I ended up losing an opportunity. Right. And it's happened in other times, whether it's a potential client or any other opportunities.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it can be a gift and a curse. But that's also, and you hit on something, why I'm so reluctant to just put something out there.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of ideas, you know, business ideas, that I would like to implement. And it's easy. Like, yeah, if I really wanted to, I can go through Maryland State, register it, become an LLC, and I can put it out there on Instagram tomorrow and say, hey, I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
But to me, first impressions are everything.
They are.
So I'd rather take the time to put all the systems in place. The nice website versus a lot of other people be like, man, you doing all that and you only got no client yet.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm looking long term.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to ever look at me as
janky.
He's just janky. Oh, he's just another business. Oh, that's his third business. Yeah. Or whatever. Like when you see me, you're going to know it's correct and I'm coming correct, which what we talked about a few weeks ago. Which is why I'm charging these prices. Right. What I'm charging you. Right. Because I can't do that. all that rolls into each other.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, it's just something like to really pay attention to.
It is.
When you are a Black small business, but you want people to respect your business.
Right. And to that point, I would say that there is a balance. Like there's a balance between sitting around and not doing anything and daydreaming about what it is that you want to do. So saying, oh, I really want this website and I really want this. Like I'm working on it and using Cash App in the meantime. And then just relying on Cash App and be like, yeah, no, this is just it, right? There's a balance that I would never tell someone to put their thing on a back burner. Like if you have a burning desire for a business and you feel like now is the opportunity, I got to strike while the iron's hot. I need this lash business and I need it now. Or my brother is doing car detailing. So he is detailing cars and whatever, and people text him for appointments and they Cash App him or they give him cash or whatever. I would never tell him not to do that. But what I would say to you is think about yourself as a consumer and how many more consumers would you have if you have a website where they have auto scheduling on there and this is that and the third. So while he's busy getting it, hustling, I'm helping him build his website. So don't neglect the things. And then the last point is I'm not sure why we as Black consumers are so quick to, so let's say I do go to Susie Ann's. I do have a bad experience with the girl at the front door. So it wasn't my whole experience. It was just the girl at the front door. Why we are so quick to put it out on social media? Because that's a whole different thing. Because like I could have a bad situation at Target or Ross or wherever I'm at. I'm not necessarily quick to write about it on social media about my bad experience at Target or Ross. But I'm going to write about Susie Ann's. Right. Because you going to know. Yeah. I don't know that I can answer that.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like, I don't know if they're just seeking attention or... Yeah. Because like something I am a firm believer, and I've seen it on the good and the bad. People love to just tell people what they've done. Okay. Whether it's like, hey, I got my hair did today at this place. The experience was good. Or like you said, I went to this place and the experience was bad. Right. People love to just talk and put everything on Instagram. And that's one of the things. It's like, I don't need to know everything that you're doing. So that's one thing, or that's one reason why I think people just run to the internet. Yeah. Because they want to feel relevant in whatever way makes them feel good. That, yeah, I'm going to blast this person.
And, I think you get more relevancy. Like if you blast Target, nobody's paying attention to you because everybody gonna still go to Target anyway. But if you blast Susie Q's, right, or Susie Ann's, your local your sphere of influence is greater, because the people that you know locally are more likely to locally have an effect on Susie Ann's business, right? Whereas the people you know locally are not going to have an effect on Target's business. You could be the most poppinest person in the DMV. If you said something about Target, it's still not going to affect Target's business. But if you say something about Susie Ann's, even if you have a smaller sphere of influence, it could really influence how her business is moving. And I guess that does have to do with how people feel about relevancy. I mean, reviews are one thing, and I wouldn't say that you have to, just because that's a Black business, you had to hide your review, right? Maybe you do want to give a review. I used to say, my cousin and I always talk about how I try every food that come out, every new food that hit the streets, because I feel like I write a column for the Washington Post, and the people got to know how it was, okay? Yeah. And so you can try, and I might give you a review of how this honey chicken sandwich was at Wendy's. However, there's a way to write your review in such a way that says you had a terrible experience at the front door, but it was just a person, right? As opposed to the entire experience at Susie Ann's.
No, I agree.
Ann's accused. Hers.
It don't matter. But just take any type of name that you want as a small business, mom and pop shop.
Exactly.
But yeah.
It matters. It does.
But yeah, I just want to dive back a little bit. Just a quick gem for you all who are out there doing Cash App, the whole thing. I would just give you some advice. Get you a business account. Cash App is cool. It's simple. Zelle, I know a lot of people use Zelle now. It's simple. However, if you have aspirations and dreams to do bigger things,
right?
Like potentially purchase a vehicle, for your business, getting a brick and mortar place for your business, or just a business credit card, anything, the bank is going to want to see what's your numbers like. And I know a lot of people like to use Cash App because it's like, oh, this is my money. The government don't know about it.
Feds ain't got to know.
Yeah, but it's like, but when you're ready to make moves,
feds need to know.
The bank going to be like, all right, so what did you do in 2019? And it's like, you didn't bank, like you may have killed, but your numbers don't show that because the bank, you're not even in business.
Right. It's all personal transactions.
So that's just a little gem. Like Candace said, like, don't let that stop you if you don't have the systems in place, but be on the move and put those plans in place to grow and be able to get, those systems.
Right. And it doesn't take anything to start, like a Cash App business account. So, if you have a personal one, flip it over. There you go. Put Cash App business. And a quick note that you can scam the system by getting a Google Voice number. Because a lot of people say, oh, I have a Cash App, a personal Cash App, and I don't have another phone. Like I don't have a business phone. So like my brother doesn't have a business phone, but he wanted to start a Cash App for his business. Google Voice. Get a Google Voice number. Assign that to your Cash App. Same phone. Same everything.
So much technology out here to make you look the part.
Yes, exactly.
And if you gotta fake it till you make it, then do it. I'm telling you, like, there's a lot of things out there. Like Candace said, is you can have the phone numbers, a simple email address versus SusieQs@gmail versus info@SusieQs. Like those little things can easily be done.
Exactly.
Doesn't take much money, much effort. So just just little gems. I know that wasn't really what we were talking about, but just always want to give you all some advice.
Always here to drop a gem.
So we're getting ready to wrap this up, but I have to know, who is this Derrick Jaxn that you mentioned a few times in this episode?
Was it a few times?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think you said he's about to take his job.
He about to take a L on his job. I'm about to take his job. So he is a relationship advice guru. Now, who names you a guru? I don't know.
Gotcha.
But that is what the people have said.
Okay.
Notice it's past tense.
Yeah.
And so he's been around for a number of years. I would say, I don't know, at least 8 or so. Giving relationship advice primarily to the women folk.
Oh, to the women.
To the women folk.
So not even to the men.
Not to the men. It's to the women folk.
Okay.
Different advice about, now sometimes it's advice to women and sometimes it's telling women what their standards should be as far as what they should accept from men, because in his view, at least the way I see it, in his view, in summary, men ain't So
yeah, gotcha.
I've never. It's just the strangest thing. Me personally, I don't have never subscribed to anything that he's talking about. To me, I have feelings. I'm gonna leave it at that. But so he is mostly giving advice and giving women folks standards by which they should be dating and having relations and all that kind of stuff, and telling them to strive for more because men ain't, and make sure you got it all in line because this is that and third. He recently cheated on his wife. It has come out in full bloom that he has cheated on his wife.
So I think I did hear something about that. And I think he did like a press conference or some type of virtual call or something with his wife trying to explain the whole situation.
I don't know how you explain cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, either you did it or you didn't do it. It's very simple.
So this guy he's a big time in the relationship.
He is big time in relationships. And to me, it's funny how my brain works because the first thing I thought about was his business empire, because he's not just a person, he is a business. Like his name is a brand, right? He's written books.
Gotcha.
He does keynote speaking and all of that kind of stuff that comes with being an influencer. And so my immediate thought was, what's going to happen to his business?
Yeah. But something that I'm thinking about, because we live in a world where we quickly forget. Like just like we was talking about H&M a little while ago and Gucci. So I wonder, could the timing work out in his favor because we are still in COVID. So there's not, like those big events, with thousands of people gathered in the arenas to hear someone speak, so let's just say even best case scenario, like arenas and stuff start opening up in October, November. That's a good amount of time for people to get amnesia. And forget.
That's a good point. I'm not going to say it's not possible. I would say he is very polarizing as an individual. He's like Charlemagne used to be, like either you love him or you hate him.
Gotcha.
And because he's so polarizing, I wonder how it's going to work. But you make a good point. Like people do forget, and they do forget mighty fast. I don't know. Yeah. For me, like if he was an athlete and he cheated, then I'd be like, meh, it is what it is, right? And not just because he's an athlete, but because that had nothing to do with how he made his money. But because you make you violated the ethics of the very thing that you make your money on, I don't know how it's gonna work. Because it feels like a money grab after that. At least in my opinion. But the people, they do forget.
Yeah.
And they do be single. So I don't know.
Yeah. And people are always willing to experience.
Yes.
Or like I just want to hear what he has to say. But it's the whole thing like B. Simone.
Yeah.
Like how we've talked about before. She was caught plagiarizing and stealing. But like I've mentioned to you, I didn't know nothing about a B. Simone. Yeah. Until I started seeing the headlines. So what did it make me do? It made me go on Instagram, search her name. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so now I see who she is. So now I'm knowledgeable of who she is, what she does, how impactful she is, and the whole nine, like that whole empire.
You adding views, all of that.
Yeah. So now I'm, like I said, I'm giving her views and sharing, hey, you might want to look at B. Simone, So it's like, it works in your favor. And it's like back in the day, who was it? Like Eazy-E and NWA, they mentioned like all media is good media.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. And he could even, now I'm not giving this as advice, but he could even pivot his empire to be like how to recover after. Like there's a part of relationships where people want to recover after cheating or whatever. So he could even pivot and say, this is how we recovered, and take you step by step that way. I'm not giving the advice, but I'm just saying it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised either.
He gonna cash in on that.
He better.
Because I heard somebody say before, like, sell your pain or whatever. So
that's interesting.
So like people always want to relate. And so like they said, like, a lot of people will say like, oh, tell your story or write a book. But a lot of people will say like, my story isn't that good. Like I'm not successful, whatever the case may be. But there's thousands of people out there that are in the same boat as you. So even if you haven't grown to grow this $100 billion company,
right,
you're struggling. But people want to know, what did you do? Like, tell me about your journey. Like, all right, you did this and you're still struggling, because that sounds like my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working the 9 to 5. I'm trying to start this business and I'm struggling too. Yeah. So I'm not alone. Yeah. And like, I just know, and I'm not a woman, but I know a lot of women deal with this. Yeah. You all have kids, like we said, jobs, businesses, the whole 9. Right. You know, families and everything. And it's like, sometimes you wonder, like, am I in this by myself? Like, am I the only one that sees this? Or sometimes y'all just want to relate. Yeah. And when Candace comes out with a book saying, man, the life and struggle of being a full-time mom, full-time entrepreneur, the business, I mean, the job, you know, trying to handle everything. When someone's walking through Target and sees that cover, it's like, oh, this is my life. Right. And they gonna want to relate. But it's the same thing like with the guy. Yeah. It's like somebody always wants to relate and hear the story. Even if it was a failure in your marriage, whatever, somebody wants to relate.
That's a good point. And, you know, it's funny that you say that, because what that brings up for me is that oftentimes people, it's about how you define success. Oftentimes people will ascribe success to like being a multimillionaire or having this, that, and third. I say success is having more than you had today or more than you had yesterday, right? So more love in your life than you had yesterday, more faith, more whatever. But in business, right? If you make $300 a month more this month than you made last month, that's success, right? And so when you write that book about your pain, it might not be a #1 New York Times bestseller, but the person who's on number 25 on that list still makes money. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that people, I think, forget is like, yes, you wrote the book, and yes, only 6,000 people read the book, but what kind of income did that bring you? And next time you write a book, 10,000 people will write it. And next time it'll be 20,000 people that'll read it. And so you just have to keep going. And success, there's a whole plane of success between 0 and 1 million, right? There's just all different types of levels, and it all matters.
Yeah, nah, you're right. So Derrick, what's his name?
Derrick Jaxn.
Derrick Jaxn. See, I got your name all wrong. I feel sorry for you, but I already know you about to continue to eat, because Candace already laid out the new business plan for you. I gave you
the plan, sir. Follow the plan.
So make sure you pay us if you ever hear this.
Royalties, I'd appreciate them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So I know we did things a little different today.
We did.
But you might get some of this. You know, sometimes it's just good to step away from the normal scheduled program. Yes. And just, you know, give you some thoughts about things that's going on in the everyday, you know, things of business, what's going on in the world.
Agreed. And we dropped a few good hints for you along the way, a few good gems, if you will, about how to, you know, just stay on the hustle, but keep your mind. This episode, I feel like it's more like a focus episode. So let's think about your mindset and how you do all these things. And we covered a couple things. So, you know, think about those things and how they apply to your life. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us, Stream Chasers. Yes. That's on Instagram. You can check us out on YouTube at Stream Chasers. We're on all the audio platforms, everything. Wherever you listen to your podcast, Google, Android, Apple, we're there.
Spotify.
Yep.
All of those.
Make sure you leave us a review, rate us, and subscribe.
Yes. And with that,
you just got paid. You just got paid.